Have you ever put something off for so long that starting it felt harder than actually doing it? I have done that more times than I'd like to admit. And honestly, I always thought that all I need was more motivation. But now that I think about it, motivation was never the problem. I was making my first step way too big. Hello, girlies. Welcome back to my corner of the internet. If you are new here, then hello, my name is Kavya. Lately, I have been wondering why it is so difficult to get excited about new habits, but why it's so difficult to actually stick with them. Because I don't think any of us just wake up one day and decide that, you know what, I hope I quit halfway through. It just happens. I have been thinking about that a lot lately. And while I was trying to answer the question, I came across this method that is called the embarrassingly small habit method. Initially, I genuinely laughed at the method because it sounded way too simple to actually work. But the more I actually learned about it, the more I realized that this method is not really about tiny habits. It is about becoming a person that keeps showing up. So, today I want to talk about this idea with you in three parts because by the end of this video, I don't want you to leave thinking I need more motivation. I want you to leave thinking maybe I just need a smaller first step. Part 1, starting small. Have you ever noticed we make really big promises to ourselves? I am going to study for 3 hours. I am going to work out every single day. I am going to finish reading a book in a week. And for a day or two, we are all in. Then life happens. We all get busy. We are tired. And we miss one day. Then somehow that one day becomes a week. And then a month. And eventually we tell ourselves, I guess I just don't have enough discipline. But I think discipline is not always the problem. Sometimes the real problem is we just make our first step way too big to achieve it. With that thought, let's talk about the embarrassingly small habit method. And let's just call it the ESH method because the name feels too big. And the idea is exactly what it sounds like. Make your first step so small that it almost feels silly not to do it. Not 10 pages, but one sentence. Not an hour at the gym, but just one push up. Not writing an entire essay, but just opening your laptop. At first, I remember thinking, how in the world is one push up supposed to change my life? But that's the interesting part. The goal was never one push up. The goal was to become someone who shows up. Because trust me, once you show up, everything else becomes a little easier. Part 2, momentum. Have you ever sat there thinking that you need to study for an hour? Then you open your laptop and then find yourself studying for more than just an hour. Or maybe you told yourself, I don't feel like going to the gym today. But when you actually go there, it doesn't feel as difficult as it felt in your head. I have noticed that happening to me so many times. And I started wondering why. A really good example is this YouTube channel. When I decided I want to take this seriously, I'd sit down thinking about everything that I had to do, writing the script, filming it, editing it, designing the thumbnail, uploading it. And before I'd even started, it already felt overwhelming. Not because I didn't want to do it, but I was looking at the whole picture all at once. So instead of thinking, I need to finish the whole video today, I'd tell myself, I just have to open the document. That was it. No pressure to write the whole script, no pressure to film, just to open the document. And almost every single time, opening the document turned into writing. Writing turned into filming, and filming turned into another video. I think our brains are really good at making the first step feel so much big than it actually is. We imagine everything that comes after it. The effort, the time, the possibility of failing. So we end up avoiding the whole thing. But the ESH method does something very clever. Instead of asking you to climb the whole mountain, it just asks you to take one step. And one step doesn't feel scary. Opening your laptop doesn't feel scary. Reading one sentence doesn't feel scary. And here's the funny part. Most of the times, you don't really stop there. One sentence becomes a page, one push-up becomes 10. Opening your laptop becomes an hour of work. Not because you forced yourself to do it, but getting started was the most difficult part all along. Part 3: Becoming the kind of person who shows up. I think this is my favorite part of the whole method because it has nothing to do with a push up or reading or studying. It's about the relationship you have with yourself. Think about it. Every time you tell yourself that I am going to do this and then you don't. You don't just skip a task. You are breaking a tiny promise to yourself. Now, of course, we are all humans and life happens. But when it starts happening over and over again, it is easy to start believing things like, I am just not disciplined. I just give up. I never stick to anything. After a while, you just stop questioning those thoughts and actually believe that that is who you are. But every time you keep even a tiny promise to yourself, something changes. You read one sentence, you read a para, and you put on your running shoes. They are all tiny actions, but they quietly become evidence. And honestly, I think that is what happened with this channel. I didn't become someone who consistently worked on YouTube overnight. I just kept collecting little evidence that I can show up again tomorrow. Evidence that says I am someone who shows up. I think that is the real magic of the ESH method. It doesn't help you build habits, but it helps you rebuild trust in yourself. One promise at a time. Because maybe becoming consistent isn't about becoming a completely different person. Maybe it's about proving to yourself that you can count on you. I think we have been measuring progress the wrong way. We celebrate big wins, finishing the book, crossing everything on your to-do list. But what if the first win isn't about finishing? What if the first win is about showing up? You don't need more discipline. You don't need more willpower. You don't even need to become a completely different person. You might just need a first step that is small enough to actually do it. Because I don't think confidence comes from doing something perfectly. I think confidence comes from keeping little promises to yourself again and again and again. Until one day you stop saying, I hope I become someone who follows through. And you realize that I already am. Okay, Early, this is your little homework for this week. I am actually doing this with you. This week, the tiny promise that I made to myself is to move my body. Even if it's just for 10 minutes, not to work out for an entire hour, just to move. Now, it's your turn. Think about one thing that you've been putting off for days, just one, and ask yourself, what is the smallest version of this that I genuinely cannot say no to? Maybe it's one sentence or just opening your laptop or whatever it is. Do only that, and if you end up doing more, amazing. If you don't, that is okay too. Because this week isn't about huge progress. This week is about becoming the person who shows up. And next week, come back and tell me what your tiny habit was. I genuinely love to hear about it. This brings us to the end of this video, and I just want to say that I really appreciate you staying with me till the very end. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it is you don't have to make your entire life better today. You just need to make the starting feel a little easier. If this video helped you to look at habits a little differently, don't forget to like it. And if you know someone who is waiting for the perfect time to start something, send this video to them. And if you haven't already, subscribe and join our little corner of the internet. Take care of yourself this week. Be kind to yourself. And remember, keep showing up for yourself. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.